This is 5 on your side at noon. Focused on you.
Breaking at noon, members of the United Auto Workers Union have voted to approve a new contract with General Motors. That makes GM the first of the 3 American automakers to get a ratified deal that could end a lengthy labor dispute. A spreadsheet on the union's website shows that with all local union offices reporting, the contract passed with 55% of members in favor. It's worth noting members of Local 2250, the GM plant in Wentzville, voted against the deal. As of right now, workers at Ford and Stellantis also seem to be voting in favor of new contract deals. Also topping the news today is the weather. Here's a live look at downtown St. Louis. Another warm day, but a cool down is coming. Thanks for being here at noon. I'm Kay Quinn. The fall temperatures are going to return, and there's a chance we could see some rain. Meteorologist Jim Castillo here with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, a big front is coming in by late tonight into tomorrow morning, and that's when we'll see a slim chance of rain in here. It's going to be brief. Not a ton of moisture to work with, but I have noticed the dew point's now 50. That's just the measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, really, and the humidity's going up. But look at that temperature. It's 68 degrees out ahead of that front, and we have sun and clouds mixed. At times, I've seen a mostly cloudy sky around the St. Louis area, and then we have sun and clouds mixed from Weldon Spring to Farmington to Highland, Illinois, and also Moscow Mills. So temperatures in DeSoto have already reached 70. Then we have a lot of 60s. Greenville, Illinois at 64, 60 in Warrenton. And today's forecast, all of us in the 60s to low 70s. Clouds on the increase, but staying dry. We'll talk about those rain chances coming up in Maine weather, and also a better chance of rain by Monday. I'll time that out too, and much colder weather for Thanksgiving coming up.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Jim. Happening right now, a judge in St. Louis is hearing arguments on a lawsuit challenging Missouri's abortion ban. Abortions are currently restricted in the state unless a mother's health is in danger. A group of 14 clergy members of different faiths accuse state lawmakers of imposing their own religious beliefs when they drafted the law. They say that violates the state's commitment to the separation of church and state. They seek a permanent injunction barring the state from enforcing its abortion law. Also happening right now, workers at unionized Starbucks stores are on strike. 8 of them in the St. Louis area. Members of the Workers United Union hit the picket lines this morning. They chose to do it on Red Cup Day. It's usually one of the busiest days of the year. Workers want the company to address staffing shortages, scheduling, and pay. Starbucks says it's committed to collaboration and constructive negotiations. Happening later today, MoDOT will be available to answer questions about an upcoming project involving I-55 in Jefferson County. The plan involves adding another lane in both directions from Highway Z in Peevely to Highway 67 in Festus. All of the work is expected to start next year. A meeting will be held today at 4 p.m. at the VFW in Festus. Mixed opinions about a $2.2 million roundabout project in Oakville. The proposed roundabout will be at the intersection of Yeager and Milburn near a school. According to St. Louis County, the intersection is one of the top 10 most problematic in the area. Well, last night, county leaders met with many skeptical residents.
I think that will help. Just slow them down a little bit.
I don't see how young drivers, much less older drivers, are going to get through that. I think it's going to be more accidents than less.
The county will hold a few more meetings about the project to get public feedback. Construction is set to start in 2026. A new proposal in St. Louis could make certain areas off limits for marijuana dispensaries. Our political editor Mark Maxwell reports on this territorial dispute in Soulard.
Marijuana dispensaries would be hard-pressed to find more prime real estate than this location here, within walking distance of the famous Soulard Farmers Market. But its proximity to this school just across the street.
I think the problem for us is that it is smack dead across the street.
Administrators at the Lift for Life Academy have students swearing this pledge to keep their hands off drugs. It's part of their organized push to protest the dispensary under construction and slated to open for business soon.
We don't plan to make this easy for them, and clearly they don't see anything wrong with it, and they don't plan to make it easy for us. So this is not going to be a nice neighboring situation here.
The protest from parents and students caught the ear of Alderwoman Kara Spencer.
When it comes to controlled substances in kids, this is a very serious issue. I mean, Alcohol kills children, teenagers every year.
Spencer authored this new plan to institute a reefer radius of 500 feet around schools and daycares.
I want the city to pass it, and I appreciate them for listening to us.
The school's deputy director, Dr. Catrice Noble, says she understands times are changing.
No one is against dispensaries.
By and large, they've been wildly successful.
And if you ask Spencer, the city could use the boost in sales taxes.
These have been a net positive by far for the community. They've improved safety of the community by being open and having lighting and having security.
Her plan would impose pot parameters and tell pot shops to keep their distance from schools.
Even though society has changed, we can still make sure that we work within those parameters to keep our kids safe.
Reporting in St. Louis, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
Now, the Board of Aldermen voted 3 years ago to lift stricter zoning rules and remove distance requirements around daycares and school zones, which paved the way for pot shops to set up directly next door. New information today about a homicide in Clayton. About an hour ago, investigators released a picture of the victim. They say someone shot and killed Joshua Harris Monday outside an apartment on Wydown. He was 41 years old. Police haven't arrested the suspect yet, but this video may help. Surveillance video from the morning of the homicide shows the suspect walking down an alley with a gun and then a minute later running away. The major case squad has not released any other details about that shooting. This St. Louis man is in jail right now, accused of exposing himself. Police say 25-year-old Christopher Martin confessed to the crime. One of the victims includes a young girl who'd been walking to her bus stop yesterday in South St. Louis County. Investigators say he then went to another home and exposed himself to a woman. Martin faces several sexual misconduct charges. A 3-vehicle crash left 5 people injured in St. Louis. It happened overnight at Dr. Martin Luther King Drive and Jefferson Avenue. Police say 2 vehicles were traveling eastbound on MLK Drive when one hit a curb and flipped multiple times. One of the vehicles hit a building, the other collided with a parked shuttle bus. Police say speeding may have been the cause. Still ahead, newly revealed footage from the movie set of Rust. See Alec Baldwin as he rehearses before an accidental shooting that killed a crew member. And more fears about a potential volcanic eruption in Iceland. Why seismologists are so worried.